Pat, I'm curious. Have you said you were disappointed, but at the same time you weren't going to have warm fuzzies for this year? But
I didn't. I didn't. I was pissed off. I mean, I was upset. You know, I was hurting for them. You know, I mean, I burst. You know, when I walked into the coach's room, I couldn't talk to him, and I went upstairs. But you know, I was pissed because this team. I wanted this team in. They wanted in. They deserved to be in, but they didn't get in, and we have nobody to blame but ourselves. And we had that opportunity. We got in. When you come all the way back and you get in, you can't get back out. And we went back out, and that's it. We can never get back in. We won 4 out of our last 5 games against the best teams in the conference, and we still didn't get in. And so I'm saying to myself as a coach, 1 possession, 1 shot, 1 stop, 1 rebound, 1 loose ball, whatever. You know, it's you don't know what it is, but yeah, no, I've never been that. You know, so as I said, goosebumply and fuzzy-haired. You know, I have that in me too. I think Donovan put something online the other night with me having bunny ears on. I was goosebumply and fuzzy-haired that night. Okay, but anyhow, I really care about the team. I would, you know, so much that I wanted them to experience this competition. This would be fun. This would have been fun, and not only would it be fun, you know, from that standpoint, Dave, it would have validated, really validated, all of the work that they put in. And I think their performances and their conditioning and all these challenges that each player, you know, put themselves through, that in itself validated that what they did was right, and maybe they're in the right organization. But getting in the playoffs, you know, to me would have been a big step forward, you know, for us. It's not a big step back. It stops the week of having fun. And the only other guy that was probably feeling the same way was Mike McCullough over on the marketing side, because he had all these T-shirts already, he had culture T-shirts all over the place and stuff. But you can't ever be satisfied, you know. You can take one if you want. It's not a setup. Warriors don't live in the past. The past is dead. Life is now, and the future is waiting. I've been carrying this card around with me, you know, for 20 years. On the back of it, it says absolute respect. And I give them away all the time to people, to players. A lot of my players have it, and people, friends. And so I ran out of them, and so I printed up about 20 of them. If you want to take one, have one. It's not a column, by the way. It's sacrosanct, because if I see you in the street and I said, okay, let me see the card, you better have it in your wallet. Or you buy me a beer with Patron inside the beer. It's called the Boilermaker. What?
Somebody said they got a lifetime card or something from you.
Yeah.
What was that?
It's called the Gold Pass. I think it was Shaq. Yeah, I gave him a gold pass. And also, God bless him, to this day, Clarence Clemens got a gold pass. When he was living in West Palm Beach and wasn't on tour with Springsteen, he was always coming to the games, doing the national anthem. And I can remember him telling a story to people. He said, I got the gold pass, go to the arena. And the gold pass is simply, you know, somebody who's in the same spirit that you are, and they love the games, they love the excitement, they're Miamians, and so we take care of them, try to take care of them as much as we can. Hell, we got half of the NBA working for the Heat. They're all former Heat players, you know. So,
Pat, back here, the way that the NBA has changed, and your philosophy, you said you don't have as much patience maybe as Eric. How much of a grind is it to do it the way you guys are doing it now with the D-League, the way that you're using the D-League? And is it a change of philosophy with the organization, bringing your own guys up to like the big leagues?
Well, I think the D-League is 2 years away from every team, mandatory that everybody will have a D-League team. This year we have the first year of two-way contracts, so we can actually have 17 players under contract, 2 players full-time on a D-League team with two-way contracts. So I believe in that immensely. And I can't wait for the day that every team has a minor league team within 100 miles from where they are as a real minor league team, because I think you're going to be able to develop players quicker and better, and they're yours, and they can't get poached from somebody else, and you'll have to make quicker decisions on it, but I think that would be something that I really believe in. I don't think it's a grind. The grind in the NBA is that, and I think, private air travel and all that stuff after games is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I see Eric Reed nodding his head down here. I mean, getting at 4 a.m. in the morning, half the time, and then, having a game the next night and having to prepare notes. I mean, we all go through it, and so it becomes a habit. And that's one of the reasons why, I stopped coaching, and I arrived, at 5 a.m. in the morning, in 2003 or something like that from a trip, and my wife had locked me out of the house. So I'm done with this shit, and I'm sorry. So I'm done. I'm done with having to open up the door for you at 5 a.m. every morning, but it's hard, I'd like to go back. Really, you go back. I don't ever remember feeling the fatigue when I was a player in the 70s when we flew commercial. We'd play the game. We'd all show up in the lobby bar. We'd have a burger and a beer and go to bed, whatever it is. You get up at 7 a.m., you get on a plane. You get into town, 12 o'clock, you'd have lunch, you take a nap, you go play the game, you stay overnight, you got a day off in the city, you leave at 2 o'clock. I don't ever remember being that tired back then as a player. Maybe because I never played. Jerry and Gail and Wilt, they played 40 minutes a night, but something has to be done with all of this. I mean, we're doing all this study on REM and REMs and sleep patterns and everything like that. I don't know what the answer is, but it's getting harder and harder and harder. And I think all of this monotony and all of this boredom and this mundaneness that we see, and even on the faces of the players that are giving up playoff position because they'd rather have rest instead of work. I don't know. So somebody will come up with the perfect answer. Maybe there isn't one, but somebody will come up with it as the game evolves, continues to evolve. Yeah.
Last question.
Pat, back here. Given the team chemistry that was built, is there a particular point of view that you have going into the draft, and is there a position of need that you look to address?
Usually at this, we're in purgatory. Okay, so, and what I mean by that, you either win a championship, you make the playoffs, or you get the first pick in the draft. Everybody else is in purgatory. And that's where we are right now. It's sort of between heaven and hell. If you're not a Christian, that heaven and hell, that's where we are. But we like 12 through 20. And Chet and Adam and Eric and all of our scouts will have us fully prepared in the next month. We'll see players. We've already scheduled a time we're going to start bringing players in to work out. But I do believe that, between 12 and 20 or 20 and 12, these players can flip-flop, and that there will be a very good player in the draft. So we'll probably take the best player depending on my feeling about free agency and who's going to stay and who's not going to stay. So, but I do like some of the players that I saw, and possibly some of these guys from 12 and 20 could be better than the guys from 7 to 12, and everybody in the top 7 are point guards. And since we don't need a point guard, then I feel good that we're not up in the lottery, that I have to make that decision, on one of those guys. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I appreciate it. Okay, y'all have a good time. Have a good summer, too. We'll see you.